Hey everybody, this is John for MTG Nexus doing a quick deck tech on this Jund 4-color Death Shadow that we've been playing in a previous league or previous video at the start of the league. As a friendly reminder, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, please consider subscribing, giving us a thumbs up, leaving a constructive comment down below. So, what's this deck trying to do? This is very much a Lurrus deck. Lurrus, obviously the hot new thing in most of the formats right now, especially the Eternal formats, Modern, Legacy, Vintage. Lurrus has been kind of tearing things up. It's pretty solid in Standard, but Standard I think is a little more balanced with the companions. Basically, you are a Tarmogoyf Death Shadow deck with skewing your deck a little bit to be able to play Lurrus, so you're not playing anything like Liliana of the Veil anymore in the main deck. Beyond that, this one is skewing either a straight Jund base or the blue splash that these decks often had for things like Stubborn Denial, to play one copy of Draenith Magistrate with a copy of Godless Shrine. This card's obviously very good against companions, decent against things like Snapcaster Mage and such. I don't really feel like it pulled enough of its weight in the first couple of matches. We'll see how it does in these couple of matches. Beyond that, you know, the details, one of the new cards that's been making the rounds is Footfall Crater. This is in place of something like Temur Battle Rage. This gives your creature haste and trample. You attach it to a land, so it's kind of like a suspended haste thing. Especially when you only have one red source in play, you can go and then attack maybe that same turn, but it's a little mana intensive. The nice thing about it and things like Unearth is they do have cycling to get more card types in the graveyard for your Traverse the Uvenwold package. Traverse, obviously, in the early part can allow you to go get your forest or your swamp. And later points, whenever you get like 4 card types in your graveyard and can trigger Delirium, allows you to go get your one-ofs, Kroxa, Scavenging Ooze, potentially a fetch land or a Nurturing Peat land to draw another card. One of the things that this deck has is it does have a fairly high velocity with its utility cards. 4 Mishra's Bauble, 3 copies of Nurturing Peatland, small Wrenn and 6 package with those neat Peatlands. So you do on some draws have the ability to kind of churn through your deck if you don't find what you're missing, either another piece of disruption or a threat. Beyond that, you have your 8 discard spells, 4 Inquisition, 4 Thoughtseize. Obviously, Thoughtseize is very important in a Death Shadow deck that is not able to also run Street Wraith. So a lot of changes to this list from something that could run Street Wraith. Beyond that, you're running Seal of Fire in place of something like Lightning Bolt because of its synergy with Lurrus, along with Mishra's Bolt and Lurrus, or Mishra's Bauble and Lurrus, yeah, Mishra's Bolt. Beyond that, you have 1 copy of Abrupt Decay and 1 copy of Assassin's Trophy. Abrupt Decay obviously pretty good against things like Three Fairy and such, cleans up most permanents that you're worried about, and then Assassin's Trophy here, pretty good at cleaning up just about every permanent in the game. Sometimes it's possible you could want more of these effects, like a Maelstrom Pulse, another Assassin's Trophy. Obviously, Trophy has the downside of giving your opponent a land, but sometimes you just gotta kill something like a Leyline of Sanctity or a Karn Liberated or a Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Sometimes it's nice to just have a 1-card answer and not have to worry about trying to, nickel and dime it by playing a threat, make it get killed, play another threat, make them minus, and then hopefully eventually be able to punk it out with like a Seal of Fire. It's just nice to have a 1-for-1 to something like Ugin, although oftentimes with Tron, the Summon Tron, you're in trouble anyway. Sideboard, 3 copies of Collective Brutality against the aggressive decks, especially Burn, Moderate Prowess. Alpine Moon is a higher variance card than something like Blood Moon, but obviously your deck can't support Blood Moon. This gives you an out to slow down Tron, usually also can be triggered on something like Valakut. Engineered Explosives is a pretty good catch-all, especially when paired with Lurrus. Gemstone Cavern is kind of a cute on-the-draw inclusion, allows you to get ahead on mana a little bit. Goblin Crater Maker, this card's been popping up a lot in any type of Lurrus Jund list, whether it be Death Shadow or not. It's kind of an answer to any type of colorless permanent, gives you another answer to Ugin, Karn, potentially something like Wormcoil Engine, allows you to blow up artifacts. This is a very flexible card, as well as also being like a shock against some type of creatures. Tormod's Cryptic Nihil Spell Bombs for all the graveyard synergies going on right now. Between Lurrus, between Uro, there's a whole lot of that going on. 2 copies of Vampiric Link. Obviously, this pilot was very conscious of the mono red matchups, whether it be Burn or Prowess. Link is pretty good against Kiln Fiend, pretty good against Eidolon. A lot of things it's good at kind of slowing down, but you do have to remember that this is a trigger. So if your opponent is able to deal the exact damage, the trigger would go on the stack and you'd still die. So you need to be mindful this is kind of better at damage prevention in the early game, and is not a way to keep them from dealing damage with that at all, because there still is that trigger there. And then 2 copies of Veil of Summer, because what green deck is not running this broken card against counter spells and other discard spell decks? So that's it. Let's hop into the remaining matches in this league and see how we do. We're back for the 4th match in this league. Previous 3 obviously were on a different video, so if you want to try to check that out, try to leave a link above. Okay, review Lurrus here. So I think this hand's fine for what we're trying to do, because we have Inquisition on 1 and Traverse into potentially Thoughtseize, so, or Fatal Push, depending on what our opponent's doing. So, position. So we are up against Ad Nauseam. So this hand's pretty much got everything. So I could take Lotus Bloom. That would severely crimp their mana for now. I could take either Unlife or Ad Nauseam later. Also, I could take either Unlife and Spoils of the Vault, or just Spoils of the Vault and Ad Nauseam. This isn't the best. This is actually a very Inquisition, almost Inquisition proof hand. So I could choke them on mana, or I could try to just take the combo pieces and then hope they don't rip. I think I'm going to take Unlife this turn, and then we can take Ad Nauseam in a couple of turns down the road. Keeping in mind that we have to be able to do that when they can't cast Phyrexian Unlife. So, we're not Pack of Negation with the mana up. Interesting that they would show... Why wouldn't you lead on Temple here? It's kind of weird that you'd show me... Alright, so... Traverse, grab the Swamp, cast Thoughtseize. Take Ad Nauseam. This is their hand currently. This card on top. So we don't really want the white mana, we probably want red mana here. So Tarmogoyf, Death Shadow. So we'd love to rip another discard spell. So we still know 3 of the 4 cards in their hand. Card on the bottom, 1 card on top. Kind of sucks because it kind of gives away the fact that don't do this during their upkeep. do this to blow up the Lotus Bloom before they move into their main phase. Alright, and we got the win as a result. So our opponent's going to have Leyline of Sanctity coming in, so our discard spells aren't going to be quite as good. I want the Gemstone Mine because we're on the draw. Engineer Explosives can be alright in a pinch. Crater Maker could be okay, but this is another threat and a way to blow up some whatchamacallits. Fatal Pushes, while they can kill a Thassa's Oracle, at that point we're already likely dead. And then could leave these guys in just as a hedge in case they don't have Leyline. They can't always might want Veil of Summer potentially as a cantrip slash ability to counter Pact of Negation, which they frankly may not even leave in. Collective Brutality is another hedge, although once again if they're mulliganing to Leyline, these aren't going to be good. Cards would we cut otherwise? Dismembers are obviously actively pretty bad. I guess I should actually see what sideboard plans these ad nauseum decks have been having, besides the fact obviously of Leylines. Doesn't seem like they have too much in the way of creatures. Like some of these used to have like a creature sideboard package. So I think I'm just going to take out Magistrate's kind of nonsense, not really even a clock. And then maybe the Seal of Fires. Leave in Trophy and Abrupt Decay because they kind of answer the things we want to answer. Sand's fine. Really needs a threat, but we have Assassin's Trophy, we have Inquisition. Yep, here comes Leyline Sanctity. I figured they had. Not a huge deal per se, but annoying nonetheless. Gonna cycle Crater Footfall here. Grab Blood Crypt, Shocking in. Hey, Unearth, just what I wanted, right? There is more than one Overgrown Tomb in our deck, correct? Don't want to pass the turn and then find out we don't have more than one Overgrown Tomb. We do in fact have more than one. Play out the fetch land, get some more life. Yep, unlife, sure. Did mean to cycle this last turn. I even said it out loud. Okay, Tarmogoyf. So do I get Goyf down, or do I feel like I'm just supposed to get Goyf down this turn, right? Like, I feel if they would have had, like Lotus Bloom or Pentad Prism, they would have already played that out. So their hand might be like Spoils of the Vault, which would be kind of unfortunate for us, but really isn't a whole lot else we can do right now. Illustrator is such an annoying card. Start by cycling a Peatland. That'll allow us next turn to possible it's just to leave a couple fatal pushes in just for that kind of nonsense. Beyond that, not a whole lot else going on. I've completely forgot Lurrus was in my sideboard again. Good job. Alright, so... Fetch Shock, Thoughtseize puts me in a 15. My deck a little bit, grab the forest. Nauseam is one of those decks that, like, when it draws hot, it is almost impossible for any type of archetype to beat. Must have just drawn Serum Visions this turn. We start by cycling on Earth here. I don't think our clock's going to be quite fast enough this game, unfortunately. Because the key to the Ad Nauseam combo is they really need 3 different things. They need the mana, they need the anti-life gain thing, or the anti-dying thing, whether it be Grace or Phyrexian on life, and they also need Ad Nauseam. But now they also have the backdoor of Thassa's Oracle plus Spoils of the Vault, if they happen to have one of those anti-life gain things in place. So, makes things kind of annoying. Let's use ourselves, take Inquisition. Maybe. Guess we'll find out. Sure. And there's the game. Alright, on to the next match. Alright, we're back for the final match in this league with Persistent Shadow. Lurrus mirror match, sure. Hand's pretty reasonable. We have Inquisition into Goyf, which is usually fun in a lot of spots, so. So Burn or Prowess. Kind of screwed up here. I probably should actually have played Blood Crypt. So given this hand, I think I'm supposed to take Kiln Fiend with our lack of kill spells, and then just eat the massive turn they could have next turn. Kind of go from there. I really hate that. Wow, seriously? Really nothing else here to do but play a Tarmogoyf. So, am I dead if I don't block? Now I'm supposed to trade for Kiln Fiend here. Now they're put to the test. Do they want to run out another Kiln Fiend, or do they want to pour on the damage? I'm beginning to understand why the Jund players are such a salty bunch. It's like, yep, I get to see my opponent rip lucky, and know they rip lucky too. So I can do everything this turn, right? I can Inquisition, take their Kiln Fiend. Go to 4. So, I mean, we're dead to a lot. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that we're in great shape this game, but at least I know I have a 9/9 I have to deal with. I was going to say, at this point, you just have to block. Traverse. Grab another Death Shadow. Death Shadow. Pull out the Blood Crypt to get a little bit lucky here. Am I dead? Cool. All right. Empiric Link might be okay in this matchup. We'll see. Definitely want the Collective Brutalities. Probably want Engineered Explosives. Crocs is a little slow in this matchup. Turn up Magistrate's a little eh. I mean, it's okay against Lurrus, but that's... Were they even a Lurrus deck? So we can just take out the 4 Thoughtseizes, but we really want Thoughtseize because of Death Shadow. Ren 6 is a little eh in this matchup. A little bit slow, a little bit clunky. Link's okay, but does have that trigger issue, so we'll see what happens there. Maybe Shaven Unearth. And shave like 1 discard spell, maybe. Bobble. Also a Lurrus deck, memory serves correctly. Yeah. Can't keep the no-lander, unfortunately. This hand's okay, but not great. Put back. Play the bauble. Target myself. Do I want an Inquisition? Probably. For some reason they don't have a threat on one. I want to build Inquisition to kill and fiend away. How aggressive am I supposed to be with my life total here? Probably not very. The most mana efficient play here is either to Goyf or to Abrupt Decay. Inquisition would allow us to catch a Kiln Fiend, potentially, or an Abbot. It's also the least mana efficient. Take lay at the stage, take our beats this turn. Yep. So we know what their top deck was. Yep. Trophy, huh? So their hand is currently dart, dart. We can just go ahead and trophy this thing. Not trophy, Abrupt Decay. Of course you draw another creature. They're really considering flashing it back. Okay, sure. Guess that leaves us dead to bold if they have it in hand. Alright, start with an Inquisition, Lava Dart, Lava Dart. basically have us dead. If they ever rip a mountain or another mana source, we're dead. It's possible I was just supposed to abrupt decay that Soul Scar Mage right away and protect our life total. Yeah, I already know you have that, thanks. Yep, Bobble could certainly do it as well. Yep. And we're dead. Alright. On to the wrap up in 1 second. We're back for a quick wrap up with this Jund Dish Shadow League. A couple of matches here at the end with Ad Nauseam and Mono Red Prowess with Lurrus kind of finishing up the league. So thoughts on the matchups? Ad Nauseam with Veil of Summer, Leyline of Sanctity, now a tertiary combo in their deck. A lot harder to beat. Previously, there were like two different archetypes that could like routinely punish at the old Ad Nauseam decks. Those were the Black-Green X decks with a decent clock, and the like infect-based aggro decks, simply because most of Ad Nauseam's thing is aimed at damage prevention, and infect actually plays into the Phyrexian Unlife plan a little bit. With Veil of Summer, Leyline, backup combo, a lot harder to disrupt them. As you saw in Game 1, when we were able to hit them with some discard spells and some pressure, we were good. Game number 2, we were close, but not quite. And then game number 3, obviously, we didn't really have a truly functional hand. We had a kind of slow mopey hand that was kind of hoping they didn't have Leyline, but when you only have one copy of Assassin's Trophy in your 75, no Maelstrom Pulses, etc., you can't really rely on the ability to clear out Leyline of Sanctity. So I think one of the things I would want to do is probably get a second copy of Assassin's Trophy somewhere in the 75. I do respect the trying to get Dreneth Magistrate or something along those lines into the situation here. But I don't really feel like this card necessarily did enough in a lot of spots. Like my thought process would be just to cut this, cut the Godless Shrine, and either play with a straight Jund base and see what you can do with that, or get the blue back in here with Stubborn Denial, because that adds another dimension of disruption for your deck. So, because if you cut this, it enables the option of having a Stomping Ground potentially in your 75 or in your 60, or enables you to open back up and have Stubborn Denial, which I think is a lot better when you have both those angles of disruption, when you have both discard spells and Stubborn Denial as things your opponent has to play around in some spots. As far as prowess, there were As familiar as I am with the Burn versus Death Shadow, Jund Death Shadow variant matchups, I am not as familiar with the Prowess because I have not played a ton of Prowess or a ton of Death Shadow of late. So I misevaluated my role in terms of how quickly I was supposed to kill the creature. I think it's just one of those just Doomblade everything, player threats later, especially when our only removal spell was an Abrupt Decay. One thing I did note in this version was kind of a lack of removal spells. You had the 2 Seal of Fire, the 3 Fatal Push, obviously a couple copies of Dismember, some other stuff. Feels like there isn't quite enough removal in this build for what's going on in the meta right now with Burn and Prowess and Devoted Druid kind of all over the place. Like I said, I'm not familiar enough with the Jund Death Shadow archetype as it's kind of evolved with Lurrus and such right now. So to really make a definitive suggestion on what should be in the deck, what shouldn't be in the deck. But it does feel like you want more, like maybe another copy of Assassin's Trophy, maybe another copy of Seal of Fire. Maybe shave like 1 on Earth. Just like there's a lot of good stuff going on here, a lot of stuff that I enjoy. Like I enjoy the Tarmogoyf Death Shadow core in kind of these aggressively slanted mid-range decks. But I do think some of the details, at least for the league that we played, weren't good. And I certainly made some decisions that complicated that. I should have Abrupticated the first Soulscar Mage. Yes, it would have left our opponent with a layup a stage, but when you only run 12 to 16 creatures in that deck, especially with Lurrus, they probably had access to 4 Soulscar Mage, 4 a Monster Swift Spear, and maybe 4 copies of Abbot, but it looks like they were on the Kiln Fiend version. So a little less threatening if you kill their creature there. We don't take a chunk of damage that we didn't need to. We can then deploy our Tarmogoyfs or whatever at our leisure without them getting gunned down by opponent's burn spells in conjunction with the Soulscar Mage. Definitely a misevaluation on my part of what I should have done in that spot. Certainly cost us game 2. Who knows what would have happened in a game 3. Did feel like we had a lot of tools in post-war games with the collective brutalities, the engineered explosives, even possibly the Crater Maker. Felt like we had a lot of kill spells, but I misevaluated our role, cost us too much life. And in the end, that kind of cost us game number 2. So, deck's a lot of fun. Details a little bit sketch. The Empiric Link was definitely impressive against Eidolon. Beyond that, I don't really have too many other opinions on the smaller details like Alpine Moon or, you know, Tormod's Crypt versus Nile Spellbomb counts, that kind of stuff. I'd have to play way more games than I have. But definitely felt like we might want another removal spell or two. Definitely probably wanted a second Assassin's Trophy or a Maelstrom Pulse somewhere in the 75 just to be able to clear out Leyline of Sanctities, deal with other problematic permanents. Yes, the format is trending down in terms of converted mana cost, but there are still decks that run Leyline. Beyond that, the deck was a blast. Definitely going to run it back at some point. Might do a little bit of tweaks, look for a slightly different list. Maybe a list with some Stubborn Denials, give us a little more play against something like Ad Nauseam there. But beyond that, this has been John for MTG Nexus, and I hope everybody has a great day.